All right, before we actually start the setup video today, I just want to make a quick shout out to Colin at Skate618. You guys also might know him as Chem's FB or Chem Skate. Homie did send me this board, and it's a deluxe true fit mold. It's got the specs, it's got the sizes that I like, my man's nose. You know, I'm kind of feeling sponsored, guys. It's been many, many years since I've had a free board. So dude, I really appreciate it. So I'm really hyped. He even hooked me up with some stickers right here. It looks like there's some mini Chem's fingerboard stickers in here as well. So that's really rad. If you're newly tapping in here, this is the True Fit mold by Deluxe with a 1388 wheelbase. These things are my favorite, but low-key they are kind of hard to find. So when Colin sent me a picture of one of these things in the shop, I was like beyond stoked. Yeah guys, go check out the shop online. I'll leave the link below. Make sure you also check out Chem's FB. He's got a lot of sick fingerboards and whatnot. It's also kind of cool because Chems and Goo both kind of like showed me the ropes in fingerboarding early back in the days for me. So I do appreciate that again, guys. And yeah, I guess enough of me just kind of blabbering, and let's start setting this thing up because I am stoked. And it's funny, I actually had this graphic with a green stain, I don't know, maybe a year ago or something. And yeah, I know, I just love the graphic in general just because like I love the monster trucks too. Like I used to love going to Monster Jam and whatnot. I still do. It's been a while. But anyways, let's set this thing up. So he sent me a few little stickers right now, pretty hyped right now. I'm gonna definitely throw one of those on the board. The little reel sticker it comes with. And look, he even sent me some Chems like fingerboard stickers. And I love how even the Skate 618 is super small, like for like a fingerboard ramp or something. Bada boom, bada bing. I know, I always take this little warning sticker off. Gotta go. It's like, I like how the Nicole's like font is kind of similar to this. So I'm gonna low-key throw this over the Nicole. It's kind of funny. It'll kind of have like a purplish and black and blue. Like I think it'll look kind of sick actually. That's kind of sick. You know, it's like almost looks like it should kind of even be there, you know, kind of thing. We're going to be setting up this board with a few things that we will get into. We're going to be using my old independent hollows that I've been riding. These are 149s, and I do ride the 149 on an 825. I just like having a bigger truck on this board. Usually they suggest like a 144, I think, on an 825. But having the bigger truck for me, I can just lock into crooks and feebles a little bit easier. So that's kind of why I ride the bigger truck. Also in the last year, I kind of switched over to like a normal hollow kingpin, or a normal kingpin sort of say. I was riding inverted kingpins, and I just noticed I couldn't tighten my truck as much as I really wanted to. It was fine when I was skating curbs because when I skate curbs, I can ride these trucks. But once I kind of go faster in the skate park or in the street, I do like to tighten my trucks up. I did notice as well when I do manual tricks, tighter trucks definitely help me. Might not help you, but it helps me. We're going to be using on this board, and yes, I said tires. These wheels are the Formula 4 conical fulls, and it's crazy because the conicals are actually like a little bit thinner than these. I have another set of just like regular conicals I'll compare next to them, and you can kind of tell the fulls do have a little extra thickness. I got these from another random skate shop in Reno when I was out there visiting. I did like to see that they had the 101s and 99s. They had a whole full range. I wish they had tablets, but like I was saying, tablets are like not my favorite looking wheel. So these are similar to tablets. They are a little bit wider. And as you can see, I went with the 52 millimeter. I was riding the 51, which was great. I feel like the 51 for me works really well. For me, for some reason, when I feel like when you start to scale up to 52, for some reason, it just starts to actually really get wider. Like even the classic 52 millimeter, like it just is, it's a wide wheel. I personally like the skinnier wheel for locking into grinds. It's also less weight. There's a few different things that, you know, that I personally like about these. So like I was saying, these are a little bit bigger than I normally ride. They're a millimeter bigger as in their 52s, and they're a little bit wider. So we'll see how these go. Since I've been riding like a lot of like ditches and like a lot of street recently, these might come in handy. Also just going to be putting some OG reds in there, nothing too crazy. About today is kind of funny. I went to a different local skate shop and they didn't carry pepper grip tape, so I had to get mob. And I haven't rode mob grip tape in many years, so I'm curious to see how it holds up. If it's just going to obliterate my shoe right away, or if it's going to just like wear out really fast. I really don't know. But yeah, so anyways, we'll see how mob goes. Okay, well, first things first right now, we're gonna throw some grip on this thing. When mob was so popular, or at least the first ones to do kind of like the perforated holes so you don't get air bubbles. But I swear the last few times I used mob grip tape, I felt like when I put the grip tape down, it would kind of crinkle. Like it would make not a nice, it wouldn't look nice. That's all I'm saying, I guess. But I did notice even the pepper grip tape, like not the last one I put on, but it had another weird kind of like crinkle as well. So I don't know. I'm really scared. See how it kind of like pinches up right there a little bit? This is like scaring me. This grip tape just feels very hard and crispy compared to pepper, I guess. Where like, you know, Jessup feels very like flimsy, and this feels very like potato chip crispy. Uh-oh. It's weird. This grip tape doesn't even feel like it's sticking to my board. I keep like pushing it down and it's like not sticking. Okay, let's file this thing out. I have a somewhat of a fresh razor blade right here. Can't wait to do a little grippiana right here. Oh, whoa, this razor blade is so sharp, I just like cut the wood of the board. That was kind of insane. It's like dusty popping up from the side of the grip. Okay. We'll just start gripping this thing. Usually with the little scraps right here, I'll just fold it, and then we're gonna go outside later, not right now, and we're gonna file down the sides of the board, and that just kind of prevents any of the grip tape peeling up in the beginning. Especially on your nose and tail, you'll kind of like put it on the ground and kind of just like rub it like this, and that also just helps, like just in case your board does land upside down on your first kickflip or something, your grip tape will peel up, and this will prevent that. So if you didn't know that, hopefully that helps a little bit, because that always bummed me out. All right, well, the board's gripped and looking pretty good. I was deciding if I should put the rails on right now, but I kind of don't want to. But we can talk about the rails since they are out here right now. We have the Santa Cruz hollow rails. I just really like these rails because of two real reasons. One, they're lightweight, they're hollow, you know, and they're really hard plastic. I've noticed the really hard plastic rails for me personally just work better. It's more consistent for me. And when I like ollie into cement features, like more than a curb, sometimes the soft ones would kind of just give in and like kind of get stuck in the ledge, if that makes sense. Where this you can kind of see like, yeah, it's kind of getting beaten up over here, but the slide's more consistent. I don't know. I could be totally wrong, but that's what I've noticed. These harder rails just work better for me. All right, so right now we're just gonna poke holes through the grip tape, and usually I just use one piece of hardware and a screwdriver in the other hand, and just kind of poke, twist, and yeah, do that a few times. It works. You know, you could just get like a really skinny screwdriver or like one of those little metal pokey sticks, or I don't even know. Even a chopstick probably would work, honestly. It would actually be funny to see like a bunch of different things that fit perfectly in the hardware place. Boring part, just throw this hardware in right here. Now we need to find the front truck right here. And usually my front base plate is really kind of gnarly and messed up because of all the nose slides I do. And these trucks are just so like, they're not that grimy actually. They were worse because we were skating a few ditch spots with the last few times. So, you know, they've gone swimming in some sludge. And I'm honestly so stoked to be riding like the same board again. So I was riding the same specs as this board. It's the same true fit mold, so the same concave and everything, but it was a There skateboard graphic. That board started getting pretty toast. I had it like since skate shop day, but we've been skating a lot of street spots, and I've just been kind of skating a lot of street more than the park recently, and I've noticed it really kind of takes a toll on your board, and especially those ditch spots that Dowdy takes me to, like, yeah, those things are crusty. Okay, we're almost done with this truck. You know what? I'm not gonna film me putting on the other truck because you guys just saw that. So I actually lied. I'm actually gonna film me putting on this back truck just so we can talk about the board specs a little bit more. I kind of forgot we didn't completely cover this. It is an 825, it's 31.5 inches long, and it's got the 1388 wheelbase. And for some reason, these specs have just been really working for me in the last year or so. A 14-inch wheelbase is already pretty small, especially on an 825. Usually once it hits 825, it starts to go up to at least a 14.25 wheelbase, so on and so forth. Like there's some crazy different specs you can look at out there. But I randomly tried one of these True Fit molds that was an 825 with a 1388 wheelbase, and I remember my buddy June, like June Kate, he would skate a sub 14 wheelbase, and I remember being like, oh, like that's pretty crazy, like it's definitely really wiggly, but I didn't realize the popping response time was gonna be so immediate. And don't get me wrong, these specs don't work for everybody. I'm maybe like about 6 feet tall, so like I have another homie Parker, and he's like way taller than me. He says he's only like 6 feet, but I swear he's like 6'1" or something. Like the dude's pretty tall, and the 13.8 wheelbase and the 13.5-inch like length it's just too small for him. But for me, it's honestly great. Like I feel like I have less effort when I have to ollie. Flip tricks are kind of less effort. And the concave is actually it's not super steep, but there is some decent concave in these boards. And when it comes to flicking your board, for me, the concave just makes sense. It just feels good. I can feel it flipping off my toe, or if it's flipping off of my heel, I can actually feel it. And I don't want to say I think I learned back nose blunts because of the small wheelbase and the short board, but I think it did help me just because of the popping. And since it is so short too, I don't have to like rotate and move my board maybe as much. So just using the smaller board for me just allows me to maneuver a lot easier. And so with all that kind of being said, trying to find that 14-inch wheelbase on an 825 is pretty hard. And even online, I'm not gonna lie, even online I do try to check for them. And even then, it's kind of rare to find them. And especially to make it even more rare, trying to find like a deluxe true fit mold of it. Because there are a bunch of other companies that do obviously make 14-inch wheelbases, even smaller ones, but most of them that I have tried to ride do not compare to these. And I'm not even sponsored by Deluxe or anything, so I'm not even trying to sell you on these boards, but just kind of the reason why I've just liked these boards so much. It just worked really well for me. And now that I have found something that I like, it's really hard for me to skate anything else. All right, we're almost done, I swear, guys. I just keep talking more about these boards. So we're gonna have to go to the ground to put these wheels on. And, oh man, I'm gonna be going so fast with these 52s. Like, 52 is probably the biggest wheel that I've ever set up on my board. I know it sounds kind of crazy. Like I've set up some 55s, like some soft 55s and stuff to skate specific spots, but I've never kept anything bigger than a 52 as my main wheel. So I hope I like these. I do like the fact that they are the 101s. I don't know, for me, the 99 is just too soft for me. When I'm sliding, like don't get me wrong, it definitely slides. But I like to, I guess, have less effort and just be able to just slide coast to coast. And I'm not trying to promote Spitfire or anything, but I'm not sponsored by them either or anything. But yo, this like Formula 4 is actually really good because even the 101s don't feel that hard. Because I'll be skating some crusty ground and even the 101, it's like, it doesn't feel like you're rattling your brains out. It actually does feel somewhat soft for how hard the wheel is. Because I just remember riding like the 101 Street Tech Formula Bones back in the day, and those things were like little ice cubes, you know, where this doesn't really feel like an ice cube. All right. Okay, got this first one going on. And low-key, the red bearing looks pretty good with the red wheel. It's like not bad. Oh, I want to not put graphic out. Oh, we're taking this off. We're doing this again, guys. I'm sorry. Yeah, that looks better. Okay. And it's funny because I've really noticed like the tablets and like this like shape with like the more side cut has really helped me with like nose grinds and whatnot. I can lock in more. I've been literally trying to tighten this for so long. Wow. Okay. I think we got it. Wow. I'm gonna need to buy new trucks soon. I'm so over this. Okay. Wow, that thing is so schmocked. All right, let's get on to the next wheel, I guess. The reason why I say 52 is still pretty big for me, I really rode like 45 millimeter 48s for at least 2 years straight. So going from like a 48 even to a 52 is a pretty big difference. Right? Wheels all on, it's looking so fresh. And it's funny because like having these bigger wheels already makes it feel so much heavier of a board. But we are gonna throw some rails on here next, but I just wanted to show you guys what the board looks like without the rails on, the wheels on. It looks so fresh and clean, ready to shreddy. But one more thing. I think I have so many freaking supplies over here to put my rails on, but we will explain why. So I personally like to put 2 inches in on my rails. We'll go over this quickly. If you put your rails kind of like to the edge right here, this is kind of better for grabbing your board, kind of like those 80s style like boards, whenever you'd always see those, you know. You like to move them in a little bit more, especially if you're skating like ledges, curbs, or something like that. You don't really want to scratch the surface of the middle of your board, you know. That you don't want that extra friction right there. Like you want to be riding and sliding on those rails. Measure, just go there, hit the little 2-incher, and boom. Just 2 little dots. The other thing I do want to also mention is I like to put like tape right here, and I'll kind of just do one of those little double folds or little wraparounds, and I'll put them usually where the screws go. And the reason why is like it'll just help secure the rails once they're in your board. It kind of holds them in place, and it just kind of prevents that rattling, that really annoying rattle that you'll hear sometimes when they loosen. I want to explain that before I just do it. Do a little loop around, especially on like I don't know, especially those ones at the ends in the middle. I mean, you could do all of them if you really want, but it is up to you. The only thing I do want to point out is it's funny how these like point to like as that as the outside. Does that mean like this needs to be the outside? So I always get confused putting these rails on. I've now rode them both ways, and I do feel like they do kind of concave one way more than the other. But now they're pretty flat, and I feel like it doesn't even matter that way. So does it go this way technically? Like that? I swear it's supposed to go like this. I don't even know anymore, honestly, but whatever. All right, the rails are all screwed in and the board is finally complete. I feel like we almost have a Christmas complete, just minus my trucks, you know? But I'm just super stoked to skate this board again. Just shout out to homie Colin. Thank you again at Skate618. Bro, you're really making me feel like I'm sponsored right now, throwing a smile on my face right now. But thank you guys for tuning in. Can't wait to break in this board with you guys. Honestly, I already know I'm probably gonna like it, but these wheels are actually a lot bigger than I thought. And it's kind of crazy too, there's no treads on these, so I already know they're gonna slide really nice. But we'll get into the wheels next video. So the last thing I gotta say to you guys is later, skater. If it wasn't raining, we'd be skating. What, you know?